Hello and welcome to this tutorial. In this tutorial we're going to create a parameterized FreeCAD model of the bush you see on the screen. It's a very simple bush, but it does have a helix profile cut out on the inner diameter. We can quickly look at the transparent view just for clarity. If we make it transparent, there you get the idea of the helix groove that is cut along the inner diameter of this bush. Okay, so with that said, the first thing you do is we're going to start a new document and we will enter the spreadsheet workbench. Okay, with the spreadsheet workbench, we're going to click create a new spreadsheet, double click the spreadsheet to open it. Okay, so let us give that you can now enter your variable names. So I suggest OD, and this can be anything. But what I do suggest is to not make use of spaces, even though it is allowed for the name. I deliberately don't type in spaces because I want to enter the same name or string as the alias for the value. Right. So the OD of the bush, that OD stands for outer diameter, and we're going to enter 30 millimeters. Enter. Okay. Now the inner diameter, we can do the same. Sorry, let me just do this. To allocate an alias to this cell, to the value, what we then do is double click, Control C for copy, click on the value cell, right click, go to properties, go to alias, click in this window over here, and Control V for paste. Enter. And now if you click somewhere else, you can see that the cell is highlighted in light yellow. Your color may be slightly different, but I think the default is in any case light yellow. Right, so it's got a name and a value and an alias, and it also has a unit here. Okay, so let's do the same for the inner diameter, or ID bush. Okay, we can enter. And now I want to show you what is very powerful with spreadsheets is you can type a formula. So you can start that by typing equals, and then you can either enter the cell address, if I can call it that, capital B1 times 0.6, for example, enter, and there you can see 30 times 0.6 is 18 millimeters. That's completely valid. What I prefer is, let's delete that. So what I prefer, you can also reference this cell with its alias. Okay, so what I prefer is I type equals, and then I start typing the name O, and there you can see OD bush appears, auto complete, OD bush times 0.6. Now when I look at the formula, it's very simple to see, okay, I'm referencing the OD of the bush. I don't need to look at the cell address to understand my formula. Right, so with that done, we need to allocate an alias again. So I double click in cell A1, Control C, I click in cell, sorry, that was cell A2 obviously. I click in cell B2, I right click, I click on properties, I go to alias, I click in this window and I shortcut for paste, Control V and return, and there we go. The last parameter that we need to specify is the length of the bush. So we can type that in, length bush. Okay, and here we can use, you can once again assign a formula if you like. I'm just going to enter 100 millimeters, which is what I've selected. It's obviously up to you what you want to select here. Okay, so just once again double click, Control C, click, right click, properties, alias, click, Control V, enter. There we go. Right, so what we then do is we can say, this document is the active document, it's bold. The other documents that's in our model 3 is not active, it's not bold. Right, so with this document being active, we can now say file, save as, and let's save it as on the desktop or anywhere you like. Let's just call it bush, and the 6 digits representing the date, so it's 22/03/23. Enter. Nothing happened now, I'm not sure why. Okay, let's just try that again. So we can say, I don't want to use a capital, we can say bush 22/03/23. Save. Okay, and now it's saved as that. Okay, and then the spreadsheet, we want to rename that to bush inputs return. Okay, so with that done, what you can do now is go to our part design workbench. Okay, we create a body, we create a sketch on the XY plane, it's all fine. Okay, and then we say we want to draw a circle concentric with the origin turns yellow, we drag it. Okay, and now we want to constrain this diameter. If yours is on constrained radius, I suggest using the constrained diameter. That then ties up with our spreadsheet. So we click constrained diameter, just make sure it is selected. Okay, and then click on this blue FX, and then we start typing in the name of our spreadsheet, which is bush inputs in our case. Right, so we say bush, and there it auto completes. Bush inputs is there, and the size we want is OD bush. There it also auto completes. OD bush is the one we want. We can say OK, and we can OK that, and there is our the OD of the bush. The sketch is fully constrained. Okay, so let's just right click and drag this, position it. Right, so we want to create another circle for the ID of the bush. Right, so let's do that. We drag it, we click on the diameter, click here, click the blue FX, and start typing bush inputs, and what we want is ID bush. There we go. We can OK that. Okay, our sketch is fully constrained. Right. You can, as before, just drag this, make it neat, close the sketch, and now with the sketch selected, we click pad, Okay, and what I suggest we do here is we just well, first of all, we need to select the length of the bush. So we start typing bush inputs and we start typing length bush. That's the one we want. Okay, so what I suggest we do here is we do it reversed. Okay, and you will see in a minute. As a matter of fact, we don't need to reverse it. We can just OK that. Alright, what it looks like if we unhide the origin and we look at the front view. So there you can see what happened was we've made the sketch on the XY plane and we've extruded or padded it in the, this is the positive Z direction, which is okay for our scenario. In your case, it can be different. It doesn't matter as long as you are aware of the different options. You could have padded it also symmetric to the XY plane or reversed, then it would be at the bottom of the plane. Alright. But this is fine for us. Okay, so we can hide the origin again. And we can rename the body as body bush blank. Okay. Alright, so what we now have to do, if I can go back to this, if I can go back to this, image is, we want to now create the helix so that we can perform a cut, a Boolean cut, and that such that the resultant body or 3D CAD model is that of the blank minus the helix. Okay, so let's quickly do that. I activate my document that I'm currently busy with. We can save the document. Okay, now in part design, what we do is we create a new body and make it active. Okay, you will see the body bush blank is still visible in the 3D view, although the new body that we've created is now the active body. Whatever we create now, is it a sketch, is it whatever it is, it will be inside this container called body 001. Okay, so what we want to do, let's just unhide the origin. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to create a sketch on the XZ plane. Okay, so we can select the XZ plane, say create a sketch, and there we go. Let us do a section view so we can see the geometry of the we can see a section view of the geometry of the body that exists in our 3D view. Okay, and what we now want to do is create a circle. I'm going to draw it over here. Okay, because if you look at this, if you look at what we're trying to achieve, let's look at it from the from the front. You can see that the helix is cut all the way. All right, so that's important that we will. That's why it's important to draw the circle here, and that's not what I wanted to do. Let's just escape that. Not here, because if you draw it here, then then there will be a step. It won't be a there will be a step of the cut out. Okay, and I'll show that to you at the end of the or this tutorial rather. So if you've rotated your sketch and you want to look at it again perpendicular, you click on this icon over here. Right, so what we want to do is have the circle there. Okay, and you'll see now in a minute how everything fits together. We just need to dimension it quickly. Sorry, and I also forgot before we do that. So let's close the sketch. We'll get back to it. What we need to do is obviously once again create a spreadsheet. Okay, go into the spreadsheet workbench, click create a new spreadsheet, double click the spreadsheet, and now we will enter the parameter names that we're going to use for the helix. So the first name is that I'm going to use is diameter wire, if you like. Enter, and that's going to be 3 millimeters. Okay, and I'm going to enter all the parameters and then I'll allocate the aliases. Okay, so the next one is diameter helix, and what's now nice about spreadsheet again is what we can do here is we can say equals, and now we can reference this spreadsheet, this bush inputs. Okay, so we can say bush inputs, there you can see it, and the one we want is ID bush. So it's 18 millimeters, and that's exactly what we want. The last one we want is the pitch of the helix. Okay, and that is going to be 10 millimeters. Okay, so I'm quickly going to allocate the aliases, and I'll be back in a few seconds. Okay, so with that done, we can rename the spreadsheet. So we right click on it and we say helix inputs. Okay, and the body, right, the body we can also rename for that matter. Rename body helix. Okay. Okay, so everything is ready. We save it. We've renamed our spreadsheet and the body. Okay, so now we go back to our body helix. Sorry. Yes, there we go. We want to go back to the sketch. So we can double click the sketch, then it opens. Okay. Once again we click this icon over here. Okay, and now we can dimension it because we've got the values in our spreadsheet. So it's important now, I'm not going to select this icon, because if I do and I select the origin and I select this vertex, it's the diagonal, which is not what we want. What we want is fix the horizontal distance. So we click this icon and then we click the origin and the center of the circle, and we click the blue FX and we say it's helix inputs. There we go, and what we want is diameter helix. diameter helix divided by 2, because we are specifying the radius now. Okay, we can okay that. Right, the other diameter, we want to specify a diameter, so fix the diameter of the circle. Click the circle, click the blue FX, and we will start typing the name of our spreadsheet. The spreadsheet name is the one in these two brackets, double brackets. And what we want here is we start typing our parameter, diameter wire, enter. Okay. Right, now there's still 1 degree of freedom, which is the placement of the circle, and that's quite easy. All we need to do, let's just drag it down a little bit. Let's put that diameter there, that one there. So we want to place it so that it is tangent to this face. So there's more than one way of doing that, obviously. The safest way, yes, because we want to be able to change that distance. Yeah. Alright, so what we're going to do is click fix a vertical distance. We click the origin. We click the center of the circle. We click the blue FX. We start typing the name of our spreadsheet, which is helix inputs. And what we want is diameter wire, and what we want is divided by 2. Okay, click OK, and there we go. That's exactly what we want. So we can close the sketch. It's fully constrained. We can close it. Okay, and now, so with the origin shown, what we can now do is go to our part design workbench. I thought we were in the part design workbench. Okay, so if you are not, then just make sure you go to the part design workbench. With the sketch highlighted or selected, we click on this icon over here. Sweep a selected sketch along a helix. Alright, so we do that. And now it's going to take a while. And there you can see it defaults to certain preset values. Okay, but let's just change each of those values. Alright, so the vertical axis, sketch axis is correct, but in our case, just for clarity, we want to use the z-axis. Okay, so the base z-axis is what we select there. The mode, there are different modes for this helix. Pitch turns, height turns. Pitch height is the one that the default, and that's fine for us, so we select that. What is the pitch? And here is our favorite blue FX again, so we click on that. We start typing the name of our spreadsheet, helix inputs, and we start typing the name of the parameter. Pitch helix is the one we want, so we can OK that. The height of our spiral. Alright, so the height of the spiral is obviously the distance from the center of this, the height of the helix. It's not a spiral, this is a helix. So it's the distance from the center of the wire on this side all the way to the center. It's not shown here, but you can imagine the helix coming out here, just touching this face here as well. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to say the The height, yes, we click on the blue FX. We start typing the name of our spreadsheet, which is Helix Inputs. We select it and we say, we start typing the name of our parameter, which is, sorry, I'm wrong now. So what we want to do, the height of the bush is in a different spreadsheet. It's in this spreadsheet, bush inputs. Okay, so we start typing the name of that spreadsheet, bush inputs dot, it was length bush. There we go. All right, and what we then do is we add from Helix inputs, the spreadsheet named Helix inputs, we add, and I'll show you now, the diameter of the wire. There we go. So now you can see, because this distance from the face of the bush to the center of the wire is obviously half the diameter, and we have the same on the other side. So 2 times half the diameter will be a full diameter. So that's why it's the length of the bush plus the diameter of the wire. And we say okay to that. And now it's going to refresh. Okay, and if we look at this is exactly what we wanted. I think, no, this is no, yes, that's the view, no. Okay, it doesn't matter, you get the idea. So the wire protrudes and is tangent to this face, and on this side the wire protrudes and is tangent to this face. Okay, so we can okay that. We've already done so. So now we go back to our model. Right, and we want to go to the part workbench. Okay, so in the part workbench, we have, what we do is we select, press and hold Control, select the body helix and select the bush blank, and then you go to this icon over here, make a cut of 2 shapes. You click that, and there you go. There is our bush. So the last thing to do is we obviously want the we want to change the color. So you will notice that the body bush blank and body helix is now children of the cut. Okay, so with the cut selected, we go to the part design workbench and we click create a new body. Alright, and now you can see we've got a body 002. We can rename that to body bush final, and you can right click, go to appearance, you can change the material color if you like, or what you can also do, let's just make it slightly transparent. I don't think it's going to work like this. If we right click, let's just see random color. Yeah, there we go. Alright, it did work. I thought it was going to return to being a solid view, but there you go. So it's as simple as that. And what is nice, let's save this. Okay, so I can now go to bush inputs. maybe what we should do, let's just say tile. I don't think this is gonna work. I'm going to close the other windows. We can save that. Alright, so we've got 3 tabs here at the bottom. So if I say Windows Tile, this is what it looks like. Okay, that's fine. So we can change the OD of the bush to, let's say, 50 millimeters. It's going to take a while to refresh. And there you go, the ID and everything, or the ID is obviously linked to the OD, so that updated. We can also change the length of the bush to, let's say, 50 millimeters. Okay, let's just give it a second to update. Okay, it's complaining. I wonder why. Additive helix. Okay, let's just see. No. Okay, let's just see why it would be complaining. Let us update it quickly. Oh, I think I know. I think I know why. Okay, let's make this 50 millimeters. Okay, which is then fine, and let's make this also 50 millimeters. Let's see if that works. There we go. Now it's happy. Okay, we started with entering the units, and then obviously you have to stick to that. Alright, so we can change the wire diameter to something like 5 millimeters. Okay, yeah, you see, because the issue is this. Yeah. The issue is this additive helix. That additive helix, this was linked to a millimeter. This is linked to the millimeter unit, so you have to have millimeters here as well. If you start with units, you have to follow through. You cannot now enter a unitless entity in this spreadsheet, where this one is a spreadsheet with units. Okay, so I think you get the idea. Let me just quickly show you what will happen if we don't add the wire length, which is incorrect in this case. Let's just update it. Yeah, there you can see now if we make the body solid again, you can see there's a step in the end of the helix. On this side it's still correct because of the way we've drawn the sketch. So let us quickly change the sketch. Close, and let me just close this. Oh, okay, it is the right one, yeah. So we open the sketch. And if we remove that dimension and we make it, let's click that icon, fix an object, fix a point to an object, okay, and we click the center line and that axis, there we go, it's now fixed to the x-axis. We can close that, and there you go. So this is what it will look like if you don't make the helix long enough. Right, so I think with that said, appearance, let's just make it transparency. There you get the idea. It's actually better to make it, let's just do that again. Yeah, there you go. Right, so you get the idea. Thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.